Alright, hello everybody, this is Andrews, or not Andrews, gosh, Central Illinois weather here. Sorry guys, I'm a little tired, but, we're gonna be talking about a severe weather sequence, moving into, next week. I don't know if it's a sequence, but I would say a few events. We're gonna have this trough access here, really, across the Central Plains into the Central Mississippi slash Lower Mississippi River Valley kind of Ozarks region, and then up to the Ohio River Valley. And here's kind of my updated thoughts. First off, I want to say sorry for not uploading for a few weeks. I got sick, dealt with schoolwork, and have been very busy with my friends. So that stuff comes first right now. I will upload though, and this is gonna be one of those videos. So as you can see here, looking at 300 millibar on the Euro ensemble, we're just going to jump straight in. We have a closed low pressure system here in Nebraska with a pretty solid string of flow at 300 millibar. What this is going to allow is this is going to allow for a broad area of severe weather potential, really wherever a warm sector sets up, maybe in here. We'll have to see. Moisture wise, we have dew points extending into the low 60s to upper 50s in a large area. With this, we would probably have a surface low somewhere tighten up in here with a warm front like that. Anywhere along and north of the warm front, there will be potential for elevated hailers in the situation. Thunderstorms with lots of lightning and probably some great structure alongside large to potentially even upwards of 2 inches worth of hail. We'll have to see. Those details are still pretty unknown. And then we have our open warm sector, which there's going to be a large area. We'll just put it in this kind of green marker. This is going to be really the area to watch for severe weather potential, probably. And we'll put it in hatches where the open warm sector is. The open warm sector is going to be in here. And with a large 300 millibar jet like this, and a broad 300 millibar jet like this whole region could really see a broad area of severe weather. The more powerful level forcing will be right along the cold front slash dry line, whichever it is at this point. But you'll have broad forcing from Missouri and Arkansas all the way into the Ohio Valley. Something like this was seen on April 4th, which spawned off multiple different severe weather systems, one of which in Iowa, central Iowa here, one of which in northwestern Illinois, Missouri, and then another one further to the south. So lots of different outcomes possible, or lots of different zones possible, and we won't know them for a while. So far, the Storm Prediction Center hasn't issued any severe weather zones because it's way too uncertain. They do mention that um, low level moisture will be in place for strong to severe thunderstorms, and the most probable locations will be the southern plains into the lower slash middle Mississippi River Valley. But there is so much variability within the model data to where you can't really issue a 15% yet. Sorry, I couldn't get those words out. Now, we're jumping onto the GEFS to look at the Supercell composite for this upcoming event. We might start with some severe weather late Tuesday night, depending upon how progressive the system is. The GEFS wants a surface low all the way in Kansas and Nebraska border at this point, with elevated supercell potential anywhere in here and points further to the north. It shows Wednesday being a severe weather day for places in Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, all the way down into Illinois and Missouri. It has the system being a day earlier than what the Euro model shows, and that disrupts the timing for it. It has a mean surface low here. It's really uncertain, and it really disrupts the timing of things. So it would have kind of the main severe weather ingredients and day be a day earlier, but the thing is it would have it like lining up at the wrong time. Earlier on, this wasn't an issue. We can go to comparison products and previous runs, and you can see this wasn't an issue before. So we'll start off. It's been pretty consistent on Wednesday for the same area, but it was trending up and up and up, and then bang, down. Probably because the system was too progressive this latest run, and we can look at that by looking at the comparison products as well and look at previous runs. You can see it's been getting a bit faster and a bit faster every single run, and also stronger as more agreement comes up. I think the GEFS is probably going to be a little bit too fast alongside its counterpart, as look at this, they're pretty much the same, which isn't surprising. But in this situation, you would have a broad area of severe weather, probably in here. Definitely going to be something to keep an eye on. GFS is a little bit more fast with this system. It still has a pretty significant event, but it has a more broad surface low this run, which results in veered winds down toward the dry line, which could result in storms not forming due to the dry air and training into them from the dry line. It does still support the fact that there's going to be a severe weather event probably in here with supercells, potentially tornadic supercells in that region. And we probably will have a tornado threat overnight as well, as the low pressure system kind of moves northeastward. It'll draw more moisture up and probably keep the low levels very moist and keep the low levels unstable, to where we probably will have some tornado potential somewhere in the Missouri Valley overnight. And you can see severe weather ingredients are in play here. We have strong 500 millibar support. We have an area of precipitation that is there from Missouri and Illinois along the warm front there. And you also still have that weaker surface instability. It's not the best. Soundings are more elevated. The Euro also supports this, and I think the Euro, I'm just going to use the Euro because it's probably going to be the more accurate representation. It has the severe weather threat being a day later, and this is another one of those timing issues that we need to solve. But it has that severe threat being a day later. You can see it has the trough being a lot more amped and a lot stronger as well. You can see that very strong belt of flow coming in. And this is all being influenced by tropical systems out in the western Pacific Ocean. You can see this first trough is up here, closed and moving away, which draws this trough in, and you can see the trough axis is generally in here. This would give off a lead wave of severe weather, probably in this general region on the first day. And then the second day, it has a powerful severe weather event, synoptically at least, across the Missouri Valley into the Mississippi Valley and down to the Ozarks. It has a closed low at 500 millibars, and then it also has the trough axis. It's more broad, so it's a little bit harder to tell, but there's a short wave definitely over here that you can see. And then you can see you have the powerful jet right here, which is punching in with the upper level support there. And so you can see there's going to be a very broad area of severe weather potential with this, probably Oklahoma, Texas, all the way through here. If something like this would happen. Looking into the instability, and you can see the instability axis is pretty broad too. You're probably going to be underdoing instability, as all of the global models and probably regional models will do. We'll get a good idea of the instability early next week into the middle of next week as those cams start to run in range. But you can see modest instability really in a large area from the Gulf Coast up into the Mississippi River Valley. And this is all due in part to an EML in the morning, which is going, especially across the northern part of the warm sector, which is going to really keep storms from kind of happening until later in the afternoon. And you can see the Euro goes with the warm front being up like here, and then having storms firing along a cold front or dry line, whatever it is at this point, and moving off to the northeast. You might get some open warm sector activity as well later at night, which we'll have to see about. But you can see the system continues overnight with the warm front pushing all the way up into Wisconsin there, and we'll have severe weather potential if the timing and placement is right with the low pressure, which low pressure at this point is a bit northeast of St. Joseph, Missouri. You can see there would be severe potential in southern Iowa, into Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Illinois as well. Moisture is still going to be pretty high at this point, with values well into the 60s, rising up into that low pressure system. Taking a look at your low level wind energy later at night, and it's quite strong too. Lots of energy in the lower levels for these storms to feed off of. And then instability wise, you still have a good amount of instability with a lot of very enlarged photographs as well. You can see a box sounding from Illinois into Arkansas reveals a strong amount of low-level curvature alongside a well-vented profile with strong upper-level winds. You can also see there is a weak amount of instability generated as well, which is sufficient for the time of night. And I feel like box soundings are the best way to really represent the environment this far out on a global model. We'll take one up toward the St. Louis area. If this were to be correct, you'd probably have a threat for all hazards. Further to the south, a similar deal in the Ozarks. Really, this will change over the next few days, as every single system does, but something to keep an eye on. As you can see, there is a lot of divergence aloft, which is key for severe weather events. This divergence would call for probably the most more intense risk zone to be in here, but we'll have to see kind of what happens as time goes along. 200 millibars, and you can see there is still a very strong amount of wind shear that's being generated. The next day could be something as well on Friday. We'll have to see kind of how this trough aligns. The Euro solution has still that closed low bringing a severe weather. It was probably earlier in the day. And we have kind of this closed low with a cold front kind of stretched over here, and then you can see you'll have a broad zone of severe potential the next day if this solution were to occur, probably from Michigan down into the Dixie Valley region, but this is still too far out to kind of resolve, and we can see we have instability from Indiana and Illinois down into the Gulf Coast states. Looking at your upper level dynamics, and you can see they're pretty strong really further to the north, so we'll have to see about that. And then earlier on into the day earlier on Thursday into early Friday morning, you can see the dynamics are very strong with that system as well. The GFS is a little bit weaker with the dynamics on the system. It's also, of course, a day earlier. It's more broad with the trough axis, so it's going to kind of hinder some things. Overall, we're mainly watching for trends within the system, and the Euro has trended stronger, while the GFS has kind of trended a little bit weaker as of late. That's going to do it for this short video. If you like the content that I provide here, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.